Fun watching everyone roll in. Okay. Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. I think let's start. Let's reach around the planet. Let's reach around, make a huge circle. Think about where you see people from. See if you can kind of orient that way to catch them all in our circle. Yeah. And you can think of all the members of ATI. It's greetings to each other. Greetings to each other. How we're doing? We got still people rolling in pretty fast. Okay, so we'll wave again in a moment. Okay. All right. Me. Go ahead. We've got so everyone get their caption instructions. Just let me. All good? Okay. And trying to get my other bar back. Okay. So, okay. Do we have the virtual meeting guidelines available?
Coming right up.
Thank you. Okay, there are the. Okay. The virtual meeting guidelines. Please keep yourself muted. Your camera can be on or off. If you have a formal consensus role, please rename yourself and put your role first and then your name. The public chat is going to be reserved for official announcements only. The private chat can be used to contact advocates. The advocate, the formal consensus advocate, language advocate, tech advocate, or the doorkeeper. Their roles are listed before their names, actually. To speak to the group, raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button in the lower toolbar. I invite you to turn your camera on and unmute yourself when you are called on. When finished, please remute yourself and lower your hand by clicking lower hand. Please speak slowly and clearly in simple language, avoiding acronyms to make sure the captions work optimally. This improves the translation accuracy. Okay. Next slide, please. I believe we have someone to read our meeting intention.
Sorry, we have one more slide of instructions.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. I'll continue. To ask speakers to slow down, go to the reactions button and click on the slow down arrows. When your request is completed, click slow down to remove the request. You may also raise your virtual hand to make that request if needed. If captions disappear, try turning them off and on again. You can drag captions around so they're not in the way. You can click the AI companion button to use Zoom's new virtual assistant. It can help catch you up if you join late or answer questions like, what did the last person say? Since this feature is still new, feel free to explore and see how it works for you. It also supports multiple languages, so you can use it in the language you're most comfortable with. Contact our host, Kelsey, via a private Zoom chat for technical support during the meeting. Next slide, please. And we have our meeting intentions, and Eloisa Gravina will read them for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. So, intention pour les assemblées générales annuelles. Le but de cette réunion est de mener les affaires d'ATI. Dans la mesure du possible, nous considérons cette réunion comme un dialogue d'apprentissage. Nous écouterons et participerons avec bonne volonté et nous supposerons que les autres agissent également avec bonne volonté. Nous porterons attention aux moyens, pardon,
Aux moyens par lesquels?
non, c'est juste le capteur de langage qui s'est...
Ah oui,
Nous
oui.
porterons attention aux moyens par lesquels nous atteignons nos fins et nous écouterons avec respect et résilience, en particulier lorsque nos sentiments sont forts et que nous nous sentons fortement impliqués. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Eloisa. And let's all just take a moment to receive those meeting intentions. Then we'll move to the next slide to present and consent the agenda. Okay, so at this point, we have just done our meeting intentions, and we are at the point of the agenda to present and consent to it. I will read through the agenda, noting the times. Following consenting to the agenda, we'll introduce formal consensus roles. The Agenda Planning Committee will offer some beginning announcements, followed by our first light and lively. I'll do a brief review of formal consensus. Then we're off to presenting the bylaws amendment proposal with clarifying questions, a screen break, followed by the level 1 discussion for the bylaws amendment, then the level 2 discussion for the bylaws amendment, and the pre-break announcements. This is for the agenda for part 1. And are there any concerns about the agenda for part 1? Yes. No concerns. We have consent for the agenda for part 1. I have this next slide, please. And this is the agenda for part 2. If we need more time for the bylaws level 2 discussion, we will begin with that, followed by announcements, the board presentation, continuing education committee update, another light and lively. The membership committee will discuss volunteer needs. Nominations committee will talk about voting. The agenda planning committee has ending announcements, followed by the meeting evaluation and spending some time seeing each other. Are there any concerns about the agenda for the second half? Watch in the chat. Seeing no concerns, we have consensus for the agenda part 2. Thank you, everybody. And we're moving on to the next slide. So you can see who these people are for the roles. Our agenda planners are Sarah Mayer and Danny Loesch. Our note taker is Diane Faust. Eloisa Granvina did our meeting intentions. I am facilitating part 1 with Diane Sales assisting me. Corinne Cassini will be facilitating part 2. Bill Conable is our doorkeeper. Our public scribes are Rachel Prabhakar and Diane Bradley. And our peacekeeper, I have a question mark. Is that Lucy? I'm going to assume that's a yes. I don't see it. Looks like we need an advocate. Is there anyone here willing to be the advocate? If you are, please raise your hand and I'll see if I can. Any advocates in the room? Advocate is just someone, if someone's, Robin Gilmore, thank you. So Robin Gilmore has volunteered to be our advocate. And that's for anyone, if you have something you want to say and you're finding difficulty in saying it for some reason, you can contact Robin in the chat. Kelsey is our tech advocate. Mary Lou is raising her hand.
Yes, they need a peacekeeper.
Oh, I thought, is Lucy here?
She's not in the room.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So we also need a peacekeeper.
I could do it. Maria Weiss.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Okay. Our language advocate is Renee Schlumpf. Debbie Adams is our formal consensus advocate. Renee's got our first light and lively, Renee Jackson. And Sarah Goldstein Gall has our second light and lively. And Mary Lou Chasey is our peacekeeper. Thank you. We can move on to the next slide and the agenda planning committee announcements. Okay. So shall I read? I guess I will read these, I guess. Or
Catherine is reading. Catherine is reading.
Oh, good. Great.
No, this is the advocate slide. Sorry, we didn't put it in the agenda separately. Kathy, you can read that one.
Okay. All right. This is how to use the advocates during the meeting. If you need assistance during the meeting, we encourage you to contact the following advocates in private chat. They will have their role next to their name in the participants list. Actually, their role will be first. The advocate helps a member express thoughts or feelings about something when the member doesn't feel comfortable doing so. The formal consensus advocate helps members with understanding where we are in the formal consensus process. The language advocate helps members who need assistance with language translation. For help with captions, contact the tech advocate. Our tech advocate helps members with technical needs and issues, including with captions. Yes, and Kelsey is our tech advocate. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. And Catherine.
How to view the bylaws amendment proposal. You may follow the link in the chat. You can go to the AGM 2024 Basecamp, click on Docs and Files, click on Proposal, Bylaws Amendment, and it will be screen shared during the meeting.
Okay. And note that there will be a link in chat. We will also be putting other things in the chat, the agenda, the vision mission, links to video and proposals. So we are using that chat for you to be able to get to documents that you need. Thank you. Okay. So, beginning announcements. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to the Light and Lively first. Are there any beginning announcements? Let me just check in.
We're doing general announcements later. Catherine just did the APC beginning announcements.
Okay. I just had two. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Light and Lively. Renee.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. I will invite you to stand up. And just to get us going, I'm just going to give you a word and you can move in any way that that word strikes you. So it's early in the morning and we're kind of moving gradually. So the first word is turtles. Go.
For some of you, it might be late in the evening, turtles. Or dinner time turtles.
Okay, and let's transition out of turtles into bubbles. What can you do with a bubble? Can you be a bubble? And this next one, you may imitate or you may do how you feel when you hear it. The next one is pygmy hippopotamus. And I just have a couple more. The next one is feathers. And finally, our last word is hugs. And you continue thinking hugs as we move to the next event.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let me talk back up here. Okay. Welcome back from those fun things to do morning, all kinds of days of time. Okay. So this is a very brief review of the formal consensus process. You'll see in this chart, you can see there's multiple options in many of these levels, but the primary thing to know is that we begin with presenting the proposal and asking for clarifying questions. And at that point, we just want to understand the proposal. Then we move into level 1, which is a broad open discussion. How does this proposal fit with ATI's vision mission? What are the values in the statement? What are our values? Then we move to level 2. And in level 2, we simply list any concerns we have about the proposal. And the wonderful thing about level 2 is that we're really saying this whole proposal belongs to all of us. So anytime somebody says a concern, it belongs to all of us. So we don't need to say it more than once. And the other cool thing is that we don't need to comment on them. We just hear them, we accept them. Later on, maybe we need to understand them more. But at this moment, all we just need is, you've got a concern, what is it? And we care about it. And then in level 3, there's many ways that we might look at to resolve those concerns. And that grows out of our other discussion. So that's what we're headed into now. Formal consensus process for the bylaw amendment begins now. The next slide, the presentation of the bylaws amendment proposal. And we have a video for this. Please turn your sound up high for these videos. Somehow, for some reason, the sound is coming out low. So, and it will also be captioned. Okay.
Please let me know if the sound doesn't come through. Actually, let me just make sure I clicked to share the sound. Okay.
Hi, David Mills here, presenting the bylaw amendment proposal. As you may recall, at last year's AGM, we adopted a new set of revised ATI bylaws. When we came to consensus on these bylaws, there were a number of unresolved concerns. So we formed a working group to discuss these and then reported our results back to the board and to the members. Briefly, we found that some of the concerns actually had been addressed in the final version of the bylaws that we adopted. Some of the concerns were not really concerns about the bylaws themselves, but were really broader concerns that came to light in our discussion of the bylaws. But these issues were things that really need to be discussed in their own right by the people who are interested in those issues before any bylaws consequences happen. What we will expect is that there may be proposals made at some point, and if they are, and those proposals have some consequences for the bylaws, then we can make the adjustments at that time. The one unresolved concern that really does relate to the bylaws themselves has to do with Section 4 concerning term limits for board members, particularly the way that the idea of having co-chairs interacts with that. There were just too many if this, then options that made things very complicated and confusing. The way that we found to resolve that complication is simply to make co-chairs the default. If we just say ATI has 2 co-chairs, then the term limit section can be stated quite simply. And in addition, making the co-chairs the default rather than the option also simplifies Section 6, having to do with the duties of the officers. It will now simply say that the duties of the chair become the shared duties of the co-chairs. If you want to see all of the complications of how these changes were made, what got deleted, what got added in, what got rearranged, that's all on Basecamp. But I don't want to show that now because it just brings back to mind all of the confusion that we had last year. So what I'm going to do is show you the final result of what these sections of the bylaws will look like if we adopt this amendment. Section 4.2 now says, the ATI board consists of at least 7 members, 4 officers, and 3 additional directors. The board officers are 2 co-chairs, secretary, and treasurer. The board shall meet as often as necessary to conduct the business of ATI. The co-chairs of ATI, in consultation with the other board members, shall designate the time and place of regular board meetings and any additional meetings that may be necessary. Members may hold only 1 board position at a time and serve no more than 2 consecutive terms on the board, with the exception that the co-chair. A co-chair may already have served in another board position for up to 2 terms immediately before being elected as co-chair, and may then serve up to 2 consecutive terms as co-chair. A board member may resign by giving written notice of resignation to the co-chairs or the secretary. Section 6.3 now reads, the ATI co-chairs will also conduct board meetings, be aware of all the general activities of ATI, and with the help of the board, coordinate the activities of committees and the ATI office. Inform the board of ATI activities and business. Sign for ATI in the name of ATI all contracts authorized by the board unless the board specifically requires additional signatures on any contracts. So that's the proposal. If you have any questions, write them down and bring them to the AGM. I will be there to help clarify. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And we are at that moment. If you have any questions to clarify the proposal, David is ready to answer them.
I am ready to answer them.
Yes.
Can we have the next slide, please?
Bill. Okay, we get the next slide, and Bill Conable has a question.
My question is, does that mean that both co-chairs must sign or that one can sign?
I think that would be something that they could work out. One of them would probably be sufficient. Presumably they're consulting with each other.
Okay.
But you see why I think it's ambiguous.
Yes, yes. We may need to deal with that in
So this
levels 2 and 3.
Yes, so
Yes.
So okay.
Oh, and may I ask for people who have questions to begin by stating the number of the section your question is about. We have easier to read versions of the slide.
Do we need the public scribe for questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional clarifying questions? Sarah Barker.
In the event, and this refers to the term co-chairs of ATI, in the event that there is only one chair, how is it interpreted legally?
That is another good question. Well, presumably that would simply be a vacant position. Just, I mean, if we only had one chair and that chair was vacant, that would simply be a vacant position that we would presumably be in the process of filling.
So we would be in compliance with our bylaws if we're functioning with one chair, with one chair not filled.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if we lost a treasurer and we're in the process of finding a new one, we wouldn't be in violation because we hadn't yet filled the position, because the process for filling the vacant position is also in our bylaws.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any additional clarifying questions? Okay. I'll ask one more time just to make sure. Any additional clarifying questions about the proposal? Joseph Kaplan. Oh, he's in the waiting room. Sorry. That's not a question. That was just an appearance in my screen. Okay. Any additional clarifying questions? All right. I believe we can close this section of the formal consensus discussion. And that moves us to our screen break. We have a 5-minute screen break here. And please stay logged into the meeting throughout the meeting whenever we have these moments. And we have 5 minutes screen break time. Okay. As we're coming back, may I have the last slide again, please? If that's possible. I just wanted to acknowledge that this picture is of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which hosted our 2023 conference and whose region is in our hearts due to recent events following the hurricane. So our thoughts and support to all of our members in that area. Okay, and we are at time. So we are moving on to our bylaws. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our level 1 discussion. When we look at our proposal and ask, how does this proposal fit with ATI's values as expressed in our vision mission statement, in our purpose, the reasons we started ATI, and our history. Our own values are part of the reason we joined ATI. So our values are also important in a level 1 discussion. And I believe the vision mission will move on to the vision mission statement. And this will also end up being in your chat. Yes, I will read it, Chair of the Vision Mission Committee. Alexander Technique International is a worldwide professional organization created to promote and advance the work begun by F. Matthias Alexander. Its members include teachers, students, and friends of the Alexander Technique. ATI embraces the diversity of the international Alexander Technique community and is working to promote international dialogue. Our mission: 1, to create and sustain open means of global communication for people to discuss, apply, research, and experiment with the discoveries of F.M. Alexander. 2, to encourage the use of the F.M. Alexander technique in both human and environmental relationships. 3, to embody the principles of the F.M. Alexander technique in ATI's structure and means of operation. To provide a means for recognizing Alexander technique teacher competence and providing certification for those teachers who qualify. All right, we'll open our public scribe doc for this discussion as you consider the proposal. How does it fit in with vision mission, with your reasons to be in ATI, with the reasons ATI exists in the world? Catherine Kettrick.
Oops.
Also, you can toggle between the proposal and the public scribe. Sorry.
So
yeah,
for me, inclusion is a very important value, and I think it's shared in ATI. Having two co-chairs is more inclusive. Having one tends to be hierarchical, but two is shared. And we also have an opportunity to have co-chairs in different countries, so more representation. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, scribes. So you'll see the public scribe is writing down what people say, so we have something to refer to. And Diane Sales.
So I would say that in terms of finding the best means whereby this proposal serves that, in terms of establishing two co-chairs. It is simple, elegant, and it allows for more equal work distribution. That's it.
Thank you, Diane. Any other contributions to this discussion? And you can take your hand down, Diane, if you would. Anybody else have a contribution to the vision mission discussion? Okay. I'm watching.
Kathy, remind people how to raise their hand.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to participate within the discussion, if you use the React button below, you can raise your hand. So that's the React. It's a little heart at the bottom of the screen. And if you can't find that, then throw it in chat, I think. But raise hands is our first choice. So Gabby.
Hi. I just wanted to clarify and connect it to the values and the vision mission. The previous iteration of the bylaws included an option of chair and co-chair, and it seemed really cumbersome. And so after going through the formal consensus and revisions of the bylaws, it seemed to us that if we could simplify that we don't have either or, but that we go for co-chairs. That was actually the reason for this part of the revision.
Thank you, Gabby. Anyone else have any contribution to the vision mission discussion? Okay. Are there any concerns about me closing the level 1 discussion? at this point? Seeing no concerns, we have completed the level 1 discussion, noting inclusion, representation, international representation, means whereby, and simplicity fitting with our structure. All right, moving right ahead. We are now moving to the level 2 concerns, and we're going to do it section
Sorry,
by section.
I put the wrong slide up. We have a little overview first.
Yes. Okay. So is this the overview? No. Okay. So is this the one that's okay?
Sorry, here it is.
There it is. Got it. There's a lot of slides. Thank you so much. I mean, it's amazing. I'll just shout out to the agenda planning committee. Okay. Formal consensus process. This level 2 discussion is, again, it's raising concerns, and the overview is that we're just making a list of any concerns the members have about a proposal. Once a concern is raised, it is owned by the whole group. And we do not need to comment on the concerns. We only list them at this point. Okay, and then let's move on to the first screen. Okay, that we need. Okay, we got the proposal. So the bylaw proposal. So I believe we're gonna. So this is the big screen, and then we're gonna go through it in several sections.
David, can you comment on that?
Comment on what?
I think, do you want to take concerns on each section at a time or the whole thing?
I don't think it matters. I think we do. Well, the slides are set up only showing sections to make them easier to read.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone has a concern and we put up the slide that has the section the concern is on, people will have an easier time reading it. That was the only reason for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You can decide that, I think, on the fly based on what concerns come up.
Okay. Here is the full amendment. It's also in your chat. We are open for level 2 concerns. Are there any concerns? Rachel Prabhakar.
Thank you. I have 2 concerns about wording rather than content. And my first concern has to do with section 4.7. Members may hold only one board position at a time and serve no more than 2 consecutive terms on the board, with the exception of the co-chair. The way the grammar of that works, it could be interpreted to mean that the co-chairs could also hold more than one board position. So that's just a small wording concern. And then following up on what Bill asked in the clarifying questions, I have a concern that it needs to be more specified who is going to sign on behalf of ATI. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Any other concerns about the bylaws proposal? David Owen? And unmute yourself.
Hello.
There you are.
Hello, yes. Hang on, I've got... let's see what's happening here. I've got an echo.
Yes, you do have a good echo. So David, if that echo persists,
Right, that should
oh, there you
solve
go.
it.
Yep, you got it.
And so it's 1v7 again, and it is a little grammar thing. The co-chair should either be co-chairs or a co-chair.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the end of the first sentence.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you, David. Is that it?
Anyone?
Yep. Well, is that we have it, David?
Right, good. Yes, I hear you now.
Okay.
Finger trouble.
Okay.
Digital problem.
Okay.
I have 10 of them. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Any additional concerns? All right. Check, just watching again. Any additional concerns about the bylaws proposal? Tanya Canis?
Hi, it's not a big thing. It's just again a language thing, just because of the translations. But it's on where it says the ATI co-chairs will also 3.3, it says inform the board of ATI activities and business. It just when it's translated, it could mean that it's saying inform the board of ATI. As opposed to inform the board of ATI's activities and business. So I'm wondering if it would be better to have an apostrophe
Okay.
S.
Okay. 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 So a language clarity that showed up in translation as well. Okay. Any additional concerns? Irenishlam? Gotcha.
Hello.
Hello.
My concern is that although David clarified that it would be just a vacancy when a co-chair position cannot be filled in, my concern is if there is no option written down for having only one co-chair, one chair and an assistant chair, that this might be a lot of pressure for the nominations to find somebody.
Okay, so you want more clarity about when there's only one in the position.
Yeah.
Or how it,
yeah. That the possibility of having one chair and a assistant chair is still okay.
Okay, so your concern is that you would like the option of co-chair and assistant chair to remain available.
Okay. In an easy way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any additional concerns? Teresa Lee. Oh, no, that's Teresa just got here. Sorry. She came back. Any additional concerns? Debbie Adams.
I'm just, excuse me, from what was just said, it wouldn't be an option of having a co-chair and assistant chair. It would be the option of having a chair and an assistant chair, which is what we had before. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's clear. So you don't need to write anything down there. You could just change the one above to chair and assistant chair. Thank you. Any additional concerns? Okay. All right. Are there any concerns about closing the level 2 discussion? Seeing no concerns, we can close the level 2 discussion. All right. Now, at this point, we offer, yes, Mary Lou?
I wanted you to know that we have an abundance of time.
I see that. Yes.
And that's all I wanted you to know. We could do other levels if you wanted.
Yes, that's what I'm wondering. David,
Yes.
if we pulled in a light and lively or a screen break, would you and people working with you want to address these concerns in the next 5 to 10 minutes?
I believe I could do that.
Okay, then what I'm going to suggest as APC, can your pre-break announcements happen now and then
Yes, and also I wanted to mention that we have breakout rooms. There's a bylaws breakout room that could be used.
Okay.
The pre-break announcement is kind of about the break mostly.
Okay. So David, do you want to use that break room or and have it or just respond?
Yeah, that's a question. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay. So do you want anyone who wants to work on the resolution of concerns to join that breakout room now?
That would be good. It looks to me like most of the concerns had sort of implied the resolution within the concern.
Yes.
So
yes,
we don't want
that's
to have
why.
too many writers, but if anybody wants to come in, that would be fine.
Okay, so we've got a bylaws breakout room open. I'm going to suggest that we take a 5-minute screen break again, and I'll check in with the breakout room in 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And you should be able to choose the room yourself by clicking on, this was part of the break announcement actually. You can click on the breakout rooms menu bar, or if you don't see it, click on more to find the breakout rooms and join one. But if you can't figure that out, just say something here and Kelsey can put you in it. Or actually, I can too, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Thank you,
here we go.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny. And off to the breakout room with anyone who wants to go there. And the rest of us can take another screen break.
I will let all of you know that Kathy is with the breakout room and they'll be coming back shortly.
Do you think 5 minutes is enough? There's 12 people in there talking about
Kathy, you're
several
on.
things.
Hi, we need 3 more minutes in the breakout room, so we can continue chatting in the main room. It's a little tricky to chat in the main room, but let's go ahead and offer it.
There are also small talk breakout rooms. If people want to chat one-on-one with someone or a few people, you can, probably too late now, but for the 30-minute break, we'll announce it.
There is a gentleman on the screen I've never met before. And I don't want to pronounce his name because I'll butcher it.
I know who you're talking about. Me too.
So will you introduce yourself? Will you unmute and introduce yourself? I don't know if you're new to ATI, but I think you are new to the AGM.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ainesh. It's pronounced Ainesh Madan. I am a AT teacher from Bangalore, India. I'm currently in Paris for a dance residency, and I trained with Beatrice and Robin Simmons, who were based in Switzerland until recently they moved to Greece. And yeah, I'm a dancer, choreographer, and an AT teacher, and I'm very happy to be part of ATI. I've applied for membership as a teacher. I have yet to hear back, but I've found my 3 sponsors, and I'm hoping I will be part of the membership soon. Yep.
I'm working on it, I promise.
Sure, thank you.
And Dinesh, you have there's another woman, I think, in Bangalore who is also a dancer and working. Could you mention her as well?
Yeah, that is Daita Neriath. She is another dancer, AT teacher based in Bangalore, and we are actually part of the same dance collective. It's called 206 Dance Collective. 206 because that's the number of bones that the average human has in their body. I think most AT teachers would find that a nice piece of scientific information. And yeah, that's Daita, and I'm guessing she's busy with something, so she's not here. But yeah, I guess I'm representing for both of us in some way. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, watching.
During this last, oh god, sorry.
Right, I will go check in with the breakout room again. So, oops. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do.
I want to thank you all for bearing with too many breaks. How many times has that happened?
We're moving fast. We moved fast, so we've got. I'm just going to check.
Those of you new to our process, typically we would wait a day and do this during a whole meeting, but just have them come back with a report. But because there were so few concerns and most were about language, we felt that we could really, move our way through level 3. So this is a groundbreaking day, folks. I don't know that we've ever done it this clearly gotten to level 3, but my memory is not of the whole 34 years, 33 years. So I may not know.
Mary Lou, don't jinx it.
Well, we still have plenty of time. a whole week to finish level 3 if we don't get through it.
Kathy, unmute.
I forget, it turns me off when I leave and come back. Okay. So they are coming back. They have addressed the concerns that we offered them and will offer us, and what our job now will be to look and see if they have resolved those concerns. And David, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And do you want to show us how you've resolved the concerns?
Yes. I guess, can we call up the scribe?
There we
Yeah,
go.
okay. Right. Okay, great. So the first resolution is to
Are all the breakout rooms closed, or is everyone back?
not sure. Let's
Kelsey,
see.
could you close the breakout rooms?
They are closed.
Oh,
Everyone
okay,
should
good.
be moving back.
Thanks.
So the resolutions are here. Good. So the resolution of the first ambiguity was to simply make, oops.
So just go
I
up
shared the
and
proposal. You can toggle to the. Should I stop sharing the proposal? I thought it might be good to.
Yeah, for now, I think, because I think the resolutions are in the section of the proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the resolution, the first, was simply to end the sentence so that it reads, members may hold one board position at a time. New sentence, members may serve no more than 2 consecutive terms on the board with the exception of the co-chairs. I hope that we'll see if that resolves. The other resolution was the translation was to accept the idea of, no, I see, where am I? Question about ATI wording. Oh, right. Okay. In section 3633, to make it ATI's activities and business, inform the board of ATI's activities and business to solve that translation problem. The resolution of the who signs was to insert an either co-chair may sign for ATI, etc. And there was a discussion about the concern, and we think this resolves it because the question of one person signing it versus 2 people signing it, the consultation, the assumption of consultation with the other board members is the same as it's always been. So we hope that takes care of that. The question about what happens if there's a vacant co-chair position, we remembered that there's another section of the bylaws where the board has the authority and a procedure for filling empty positions on a temporary basis. So the procedure for the board appointing a second co-chair until the next election is in another section of the bylaws. And did I miss anything? People who were in the breakout? That was the last one I just said. The empty co-chair position is addressed in another part of the bylaws. So if that should happen, then the board can appoint somebody to fill out that position until the next election. So,
Yep.
So I guess the question is, does that resolve people's concerns?
Yes, so that is the question. I see Diane Faust's hand is raised.
Yes, is there any place in the bylaws already where chair and assistant chair are still an option? I think that was Irini's concern, that's still available.
I heard, well, for Irini, I guess I heard Irini's concern being what happens if we're in a situation where we only have one co-chair. rather than that she was wanting to go back to the whole other thing.
I
But
think
that's
just that the option was still available for a chair and an assistant chair. I think that would be the option if they wanted to do that, that's still available.
well, it isn't, because that's the whole point of this proposal. The complication to many things of having that as an option rather than as the default. Having options makes the bylaws really, really messy. And so that was the resolution that we proposed. And putting the option back in is basically saying, basically no to the entire proposal. But that's where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll need to check back in on that. Corinne.
So in section 4.7 that we just did, it's just clarifying first, and maybe it's actually a concern coming up, is that so as it's worded now, two members could technically be on the board for 2 terms, 4 years, and then serve as co-chairs for 2 terms, 4 years. So 2 people could be on the board for a total of 8 years. Is that correct? So on one hand, I mean,
So you don't need to
can be good, but I have a concern, I think, about
okay,
that being too long.
Okay, so Corinne, so this is an interesting moment because what we're having is Corinne is essentially asking us to move back to the level 2 concerns and add an additional concern. Are there any concerns about? Yes, David.
Or is that a clarifying question?
Well, okay, go for she had a clarifying first, so go ahead and clarify first.
To clarify that, the answer is yes, it does mean that, and that has always been the case in the bylaws. In the old bylaws, a person could serve a position for 2 terms and then become chair for 2 terms. The rationale being it's a good thing to have chairs who have experience being on the board. And so that is not a change from what we've had for decades.
Okay.
So hearing that, Corinne, do you want to ask me to reopen concerns? Did the clarifying help?
The clarifying helped, and it's kind of wavering in me.
Okay, why don't you sit with it for a moment while I check in with everybody else? And that we would need to ask to reopen. So, yeah. Okay. Diane.
Yes, a technical thing. After coming back from the breakout room into the main meeting, I had to repin. So for those people who had facilitators pinned, you might need to repin them to keep seeing that.
That's okay. Aha. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Any other? David Owen.
Yes, it wasn't mentioned. I think it is assumed that by one co-chair signing that it is with the agreement of the board. There was a suggestion we might write that in. I think it's always been the case, and that no co-chair would sign without the agreement of the board. But if we could clarify one way or the other on that.
Okay. So there's a request for a rewrite there. Okay, so what we're doing is, let's see, collecting. So
for a clarification, really.
Right. Okay. Rachel.
Thank you. To try to clarify to what David just said, if we read further in the same sentence, so this is section 6.3.4, it would say either co-chair may sign for ATI, that's the proposed resolution. Continuing on, it says all contracts authorized by the board. So this already says that they're only signing things that the whole board has already authorized. So I wondered if that would meet David's concern. Thank you.
David, that sounds like it might. Yep. Okay. Bill Conable.
I was going to say something quite like that. What the
Okay,
chairs sign is contracts. That's all.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, our time is up in this section. Let me check in with Corinne. So, Corinne, do you want me to ask the group to reopen concerns?
I mean, I mean, I'm willing to stand aside with my concern, but
we have.
Oh, we would have to open it in order to do that?
Yeah, I have to ask. I need to ask to reopen it. We're not, unless you would like to stand aside on the concern.
But then it's not mentioned. Is that what it means?
No, it would be, no, it would be. If you have a concern about the 8 years, that would go along with the proposal if you decide to stand aside. Mary Lou?
Yeah.
I want to note that we are not changing that part
I know
of the proposal.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We would need a new proposal to make an amendment to change that part that was passed, I believe, in 2016.
Yeah.
This is not a consideration at this time.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll stand aside. And I think it's important to have there just in our growth, because maybe at other times it might be important to look at that length.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah. Okay, and we just want to check in with Irene for a second. We're over time on this section, so we may need to close it and just borrow a little time at the top of the next half. So
you have we just need 3 minutes for the APC announcements, so you have another 4 minutes.
Okay, we got 4 minutes. Irene Schlump, what you got for us?
I want to clarify, because David said, and Mary Lou seconded that this is that a chair can be or a member can become chair, and then it could be a total of 8 years. But since we are now speaking of 2 co-chairs, this makes 2 people. So 2 people now can be 8 years in total on the board. I think that is what it is about, right? It is not only one person, but it's 2. So I just want to clarify that this would be not. I don't think that it is an amendment, but that it is really a new thing to consider if we want that.
Okay. And David?
Newbie here. Do we have a way of removing people from office if we don't like them before their term?
Bylaws, do you want to take that?
Yes. Yes, that's also in the bylaws in another section.
I was guessing that would be the answer.
Okay. Okay.
If I can address or maybe make a vague suggestion to Randy's point. Currently, the two co-chairs were elected in different years, so there is an overlap. There are two people serving 8 years, but they're not the same 8 years. And if at some point we wanted to codify that and make that a requirement, that's a possibility, or we can just see whether it continues to happen naturally. But if that is an ongoing concern, that requirement that they not be serving consecutively the same synchronous terms could be addressed in another amendment later.
Okay, yes. And Diane.
So now I'm speaking from a nominations committee point of view. It's not so easy to for things not to necessarily wind up defaulting to coterminous. If something happens and someone's resigns, you fill out that term. I have concerns about what you just suggested, David, from a practical nominations committee point of view. About codifying.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to take the board's hand.
Take one more minute.
Okay. Okay. So I see you, Gabby. We have one more minute. I'd like to, at about 30 seconds, see if we have resolution of this concern. And we don't need to have, I just want to check the room. So Gabby.
Thanks. Just to share something that we talked about in the working group, we actually spoke about this, and our sense was that not many people would choose to stay on the board for 8 years. It is a lot of work. So to assume that 2 people will want 8 years regularly, I think is a really interesting thought. But the reality is that, people do it because we all love ATI and we want to contribute. But I think that the reality of having people hold on forever is that's it.
Okay.
Let Catherine go. Just let her. Sorry.
So Catherine.
We don't need that long for the announcement.
I just want to point out, I'm feeling a little bit rushed. And I want to point out that after our 30-minute break, we have an additional 10 minutes for level 2. So we could continue this discussion if we like, or
that is what I was going to suggest at this point, actually.
Good.
So with the agenda planning's permission, I'd like to use that 10 minutes at the top of the second half to finish, to see where we are in the level 3 discussion. Okay. All right. So we will continue after break. Let's move to the next slide and the APC pre-break announcements.
We have a 30-minute break. Yay! Please stay logged into the Zoom meeting. If you'd like a screen break, turn off your audio and video. If you'd like to chat, you can join a breakout room by clicking on the breakout rooms icon in your bottom Zoom toolbar. If you don't see this, click on the 3 dots that's off to the right, or more to find it. Then select the room of your choice, such as a meeting room for AGM business or small talk rooms to chat in smaller groups. When you leave the breakout room, don't leave the meeting. So to watch the meeting recording, go to AGM Basecamp, Docs and Files, Meeting Recordings. It will be uploaded as soon as possible.
Hey, thank you. We are in our 30-minute break. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. We'll see you back in 30 minutes.
Does APC or any facilitators need to meet in the, we could meet in the debrief room if we need to.
10, 9, 8. So we're coming back. Let's do just a quick re-greet. Hope everybody had a great break. A little dancing around. And first thing we need to do, I want to acknowledge that because we're moving so well, I've moved us into level 3. I now wish to ask permission to change the agenda to continue working on level 3 in this first 10 minutes. I will note that we do have plenty of time. I'll check in at around 8 or 9 minutes in this section because we have 10 minutes here. If we need to go to next week to finish, that's cool. But if we're done and we're ready to consent, that's cool too. So everything is open. There was a diligent committee working over the break with some resolutions but first, are there any concerns? Are there any concerns about continuing with level 3? Okay. I don't see no concerns. We're in level 3, and David, I believe you got a report for us.
I do. I guess I do. Yes. We mentioned these things at the beginning, but now Danny has put them in the original proposal, so I can review how everything looks now. And the changes that we suggested are to end the sentence where the problem was in the first sentence of section 4.7, to end the sentence at that point, make a new sentence stating a board member may serve no more than 2 consecutive terms, etc., with the exception of a co-chair, because it could be either one. And we've put an either at the beginning of section 6.3, either ATI co-chair will also, and that takes care of the question of is it 1 or 2. And we've put in the possessive on ATI's activities in business to clarify that problem that came up in translation. Those are the resolutions. We are suggesting that the resolution to the concern about an empty co-chair position is actually covered by the other section of the bylaws on filling vacant positions, because filling an empty co-chair position is the same as if we were filling an empty chair position or assistant chair or anybody else, and we have a procedure for that. So that's our proposed resolution of, I think, all of the concerns that were raised.
Okay. So I see you, Diane. I want to just give everyone a moment to take a look at the proposed resolutions to the concerns and to consider whether or not they resolve the concerns. And I'm guessing Diane has a concern. Okay. Okay, so Diane?
Just because I was looking to repin Irene, I don't see her in the room.
She's here.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure about that. That's it.
Okay.
Her name has language advocate first.
Thanks.
Okay. And Corinne?
Yeah, now it could read now with in 6.3 that one co-chair could just do all the meetings, and the other one could, I mean, like go off on vacation. Not that that's going to happen, but the way it's worded now maybe went too much to the other way. Is that, I guess I'm clarifying, is that the case? Either ATI co-chair will also, I mean, technically one person could.
Okay, so that's the concern, is that means one person could go rogue or something, or one person could take over or something like that.
Yeah. One person could decide to do not help, or the other person could, like want to take over or something, in this case.
Okay.
Does that, I mean, is that, am I the only one seeing that, or is that?
I think taking that as a clarifying question first rather than a concern, I would say that, the either simply means that you only need one person to do each of these things in any given instance. You don't need two people to conduct the meeting. Either one of them could do it. You don't need both of them calling everybody to inform them about something. Either one of them could do it. And so you don't need both of them signing everything that the board has authorized. You only need one of them. And it doesn't specify which one, or if both of them, right? And
okay, and then you're saying yes, that because the other part says that all the that the whole board has to be behind what that signature is. This is just concerning the signature moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're sharing the duties equally, so they're presumably distributing them, and that's between them. If one person wants to be in charge of running all the meetings and the other one wants to take care of making sure the board is informed in between, that would be their way of doing work.
Yeah, allowing freedom. Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah. Your ultimate scenario is a whole other problem.
Yeah, that probably needs to be addressed elsewhere. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Right, good.
I was just going to say, so does that clarification address your concern, Corinne?
Yeah.
Okay. Any additional concerns about the resolution offered? Watch in my room. Rachel.
Thank you. This is a small thing and I will easily stand aside, but I find it very awkward having either at the start, because it's really only relevant to section 6.3.4. And it seems very awkward to say that either of the co-chairs will be aware of the general activities, because we really want both of them to be aware of the general activities. So I will happily stand aside and not make a big point of this, but I think it would make sense to just have the either only in the section 6.3.4.
Okay. Any thoughts about that resolution, committee?
Sounds good to me.
That does help.
We talked about that. I have the same problem with it, but it's better than trying to insert something into 4 and then making the whole parallel structure of the grammar of the section wrong. So we took a small awkwardness over a bigger one. But I'm on board with that with that concern and standing aside with it as well.
Okay. So do you want just a second? So we have possible stand asides, possible rewrites hearing. Danny?
Yeah, would it be, hold on. I'm on 2 places at once. Would it be possible to just have a period at the end of 6.3.3 and then make 6.3.4 either co-chair will?
So a resolution's been offered to say the ATI co-chairs will also, and we'd go down to 6.3.3 and put a period, and then say either ATI co-chair can sign for ATI.
A period. Oops, I'm sorry. Are you saying a period at the end of 3.3?
Yeah.
Yes. That sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Okay, so Danny, so the first one would go back to the ATI co-chairs will also,
Mm-hmm.
and then the either will move to 6.3.4.
Oops.
And we can clean up the, so one of the things we can clean up the sort of the way it's laid out and sort of things following consensus, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is an offered resolution to that concern. We are just about out of time.
Danny, don't forget the period after 6.3.3.
Okay. Do I have the group's consent to add 2 minutes to this section? Okay. So timekeeper, could we have 2 minutes, please? So everybody take a look again at our proposed bylaws amendment and the resolutions being offered. Are there any unresolved concerns? Danish.
Yeah, as someone who's reading this for the first time, 6.3.4 almost seems like it should be a separate point now because it just the ATI co-chairs will also, and then it says either ATI co-chair can. So now it feels like 6.3.4 should be like 6.4 or something. So just as someone who's reading it from the
Yeah. Could we consider that? Is that a concern, a housekeeping concern that the bylaws committee could resolve?
I believe that would come under formatting.
Yeah.
So yes, the board could probably just do that.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing we're going to look at the formatting, are there any unresolved concerns? And one more time, are there any unresolved concerns? All right, hearing no concerns, we have consensus.
Yay!
Yeah, huzzah! It's the consensus dance, everybody.
We should have a
Thank you
song ready to
all.
play.
It's true. Sing a song. Okay, all right. And at this point, I will hand over the facilitation to Corinne. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So, yeah, welcome everyone to the announcements section of our meeting. And we're going to have Gabi Menes-Brandes and co-chair, and we'll watch and read the board's report.
Can you start the clock?
And Danny's taking care of the video, right?
Well, my understanding is that we're not going to watch the video now unless I misunderstood.
No, sorry, this is a 1 minute reminder. Yeah, sorry about that confusion.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what?
Well,
I just read all the announcements?
No, this is Gabby making the announcement.
Oh, okay.
The announcement is that there is a board report and a video of all the board members speaking about the year. And we invite you to look at it. It is in Basecamp, and I think there will be a link. So this is a reminder to watch and read. And Maria and I will speak about this, and possibly other board members will join.
I just added, and Maria Weiss, I just added the link to the chat. So you have it in an additional link just in the chat.
Okay, if people have the link, are there any concerns about finding that link or accessing these materials on Basecamp from anyone? Just checking. Okay, great. So yeah, please read and watch the board report. Catherine Kettrick.
Hi. If you were on the formal consensus forums last spring, you know that the Vision Mission Committee had a proposal. We got a lot of feedback and we withdrew it, but people were very interested in talking about our vision, our mission, updating it, etc. I sent out an invitation to do that. A small group of people volunteered to work on it. Our update, our report is in the Basecamp, and I urge you all to please read it. And if you are interested in rewriting the ATI vision and mission statement, please contact me. My email is at the end of that report. Thank you. We'll probably start working after January 1st.
Thank you, Catherine. And so we'll move on to Joseph Weisenberg and Lucy Pierrot from Communications Committee, PC, and the Marketing Pilot Project.
Hello, I'm Joseph Weisenberg, and welcome to the announcement of the Communications Committee. We are finishing the development of the Marketing Pilot Project. And in January or February, we launched the marketing website Freedom to Change. And now would be a good time to join our efforts for the marketing the ATI. If you're interested in the marketing of efforts we took and how we work that, and if you want to join, please feel free to contact me and to get more information about that. That was the announcement.
Is Joseph able to put his email in the chat just quickly for people, or so you could drop that in the chat, or and drop the link to that website too if it's already there?
It's not open that. Okay. It's available when we launch the website.
And of course, anybody could hang out with Joseph or CC in a breakout room during the breaks these days. All right, I guess we can move to next slide. And so now we're moving to the board presentation with Maria Weiss and Gabi Menes-Brandes. So this is different from the report.
Indeed it is. Okay, well, first of all, welcome everybody. It's so amazing to see 49 faces, although in small boxes. And I think that it's so appropriate after a discussion about chair, co-chair, assistant, and all of that to demonstrate our working together. So we'll go back and forth. So we are really excited to have ATI members in 6 continents and 27 countries, people who teach, practice, learn, research, and care about Alexander technique, and are working diligently to share their expertise with other Alexander teachers and with the larger community. The most significant benefit of Alexander Technique International is belonging to a community that is supportive, inclusive, and international. This community is dedicated to the exploration of the work began by F.M. Alexander, looking at it from different perspectives, and is open and curious about learning about other related fields of bodywork and communication. Maria, take it away.
Maria, you need to open your sound.
You're muted.
Yep. ATI seeks to welcome and include all members of the Alexander Technic community and is looking for ways to share Alexander Technic with the general community. As part of the desire to be inclusive and accessible to teaching members worldwide, ATI has devised tiers to determine the annual fees.
More about that with Bill's report later on. The teaching members have a listing on the ATI website with a professional profile page for each one and an opportunity to advertise workshops on the website, as well as a possibility to have professional liability insurance. General benefits also include access to the ATI mailing list and notices on upcoming events, and having access to the exchange and the communique. ATI's online publications where events, announcements, and new research ideas are published.
Understanding the need of our members to develop a large, enthusiastic clientele, we are offering a number of opportunities for members to learn about promoting and publicizing their practices through social media and other outlets. And you just heard the announcement of Joseph Weizenberg from the Communications Committee, which plays a role here too.
In response to the need for sharing a global ATI community, the membership committee has sought ways to have people come together online, including social hour 3 times a year, meetings with country groups, awareness month to help promote both Alexander Technique in general and ATI members' activities specifically. We invite you, ATI members, to join these meetings so that you don't feel isolated from other ATI members. These opportunities are wonderful ways to connect, hear what other people are doing, share what you're doing, get to know one another, and find shared interests.
Can I just interrupt for one quick second? We forgot to say, it might be better for the individual presentations if you click on view at the top right of your Zoom and click speaker, then you'll see the speaker.
If you want to see the speaker.
If you want, it's a choice. Okay, go ahead.
You can also click on multi-speaker view, and then you see Maria and Gabi at the same time. So there's gallery view option, there's multi-speaker or just speaker. So if you have multi-speaker, you can see the speakers and everybody else in a gallery.
Brilliant. That's the best.
Almost like being in the same room together, 3D. Almost, not quite. Go ahead, Maria.
Right. A unique feature of ATI is the method for certification of teaching members. ATI certifies teachers throughout the sponsorship process, which involves working with 3 ATI teaching sponsors, meeting with a teaching member candidate to assess their skills, knowledge, and understanding of ethics. ATI's certification process emphasizes the quality and skills of its teaching members. It is a learning and enriching process for both the teaching candidate and the ATI sponsor teacher. We owe a debt of gratitude to our ATI sponsor teachers, to the members of the certification committee, and to the office for making this process possible.
ATI relies on the countless hours of the volunteers who take on positions for 8 years. No, I'm just joking.
Unknown caller.
To sit on committees and to serve on the board. These volunteers are at the heart of our organization, setting the tone, agenda, priorities, and the direction for ATI. We want to encourage and invite each of you to find the place that suits you best, that sparks your interest, where you can contribute. We are all enriched by each other's contributions, questions, concerns, and actions. And at this moment, we would like to invite any other board member to share any thoughts that they may have to add to this report. We're speaking on behalf of all the board members, and you can see the specific videos of each one of us put together. But if there's anybody here in this beautiful Zoom room from the board, excuse me, who would like to add something, we would love it.
Bill, yeah, go ahead. Bill.
Sure. I'd just like to say that, excuse me, next week, as part of the treasurer's report, I'm going to talk not only about the dues and our general financial situation, but also I'm going to talk about Synergos, our association management company, and what they do for us, why we have them, and that's it. I've said it. So stay tuned, because that's coming up next week in some depth.
Thank you, Bill. Renee?
Hi. Oops. Yes, I'm unmuted. Okay. I would just like to say that this has been a delightful board to serve on. I mean, even when we come up against difficult things, we all know that we care for each other and we work through things well. And of all the boards I've served on, this one has been the most constructive and the most delightful to be on. And I thank all my co-board members.
Diane? Faust? Thank you, Renee.
Yes, I'd just like to second what Renee just said. I've been on the board for 4 years now. I have learned so much about this organization that I didn't know before. So I would encourage, if you want to find out more and work with a great group of people who exemplify the qualities we talk about as Alexander teachers, that the board is a great place to do that. So it's been a wonderful experience for me. So come on and join.
Thank you, Diane. Any other board member who would like to? There's about a minute left. Okay. Yeah, so we have a minute left. I guess there could be, if anybody had a question.
There will be more time where you'll hear more details from the board. I can't remember when exactly it is, but you'll hear more from us. And we're always happy to hear from you, whether it's right now or by email or by coming to a board meeting that are all open.
Yeah, speaking of that, is there one happening in one of these
Tomorrow?
days? Yeah. Tomorrow there's a board meeting. What time is that board meeting?
It is 9:30 Pacific time.
Okay, so it's right after the AGM here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good reminder for everyone to know that the board meetings are open for anyone to join and see.
Definitely.
Okay, we are at time. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you.
Thanks.
So now I ask for next slide. And we have the Continuing Education Committee, CEC, update from Jana Tift and Teresa Lee. Your slide is up, so you take it away.
Okay, we don't need that slide right now.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Teresa, are you here? I can't see you.
I am here.
Yeah, I saw her heart. I saw her heart.
Okay. Hello, ATI.
Hi, ATI.
I'm Jana Tift.
I'm Teresa Lee. We are co-chairs of the Continuing Education Committee.
Our mission is to support our members as they grow in their teaching and share with each other through educational and service activities.
So we joined this committee because we like learning. We like getting a new perspective and deepening our shared knowledge of Alexander Technique.
What we didn't expect when we joined the committee is that we would get so much back. We are inspired by our members, that's you, every day.
We get to hear how you are enriched by connecting with each other through your CE, continuing education activities, like monthly teacher exchanges over Zoom.
We see the research and supportive activities that you're engaged in.
Projects like AT supporting trauma victims in war-torn areas.
We're translating Aldous Huxley's writings about AT into Japanese.
If education and learning inspire you too, maybe you'd like to join us on the Continuing Education Committee. And that's another rewarding way to fulfill the ATI guidelines for continuing ed.
We'd like to invite you to share your continuing ed experience on the ATI website. We have a page called Experiences and Opportunities, where you can share your CE learning experience or post a workshop that ATI members can take to fulfill continuing education.
We want your fellow members to know what you are up to and what inspires you in your work.
When you share your CE experience, the benefits grow to include our whole community.
So you can fill out a form found on the Continuing Ed page on the ATI website to get started. Or you can email us, and we'll put this email in the chat, at continuinged@alexandertechniqueinternational, all one word, .org.
Our ATI members report their continuing ed activities every 3 years. We are happy to say that we have successfully completed the first round of all 3 reporting groups. Happy dance.
Yay, happy dance. This month, the next reporting group will receive their notification that it is time to file their CE. They will be reporting their educational and service activities for 2022, 23, and 24. And the filing deadline will be March 31st, 2025.
Now we can use that screen share. Each member is asked to submit CE in 2 of 3 categories of study.
So category 1, Alexander Technique Study. Category 2, Service to ATI. Category 3, Complementary Areas of Study and Professional Business Practices.
Thank you. If we can stop the screen share there. At AGM number 4 next weekend, we will be offering a 15-minute Q&A session, and we'll explain the 3 categories in greater depth, along with a few pointers about continuing education. And then we'll open it up for your questions. It's primarily a Q&A. We will have screen share available so we can show you where to find the information you will need to file your CE.
Then in early 2025, we will be offering an extended online workshop to help you better understand the process and the value of continuing education. ATI members will share their inspiring CE experiences, and we will take you through the steps of how to file. This workshop will be recorded and made available to all ATI members. Meanwhile, you can visit the Continuing Ed page on the ATI website to see how it's done. There's a video that you can watch to show you how, and we will put that link also.
Okay.
We have just a little teeny bit more. Can we go a little longer?
Is that okay? Okay. Yeah. Like a minute?
Yep.
Okay. We have a minute.
Thank you, Corinne. Teresa and I have been on a steep learning curve as new co-chairs. We are currently working on a better notification system regarding your continuing education filings.
We're working to develop a clear system for notifying you that your continuing education complies with ATI guidelines and the official letters with the ATI logo that acknowledge you have fulfilled your CE for the 3-year period.
Continuing education is our collective commitment. We can see that other screen share now. Continuing education is our collective commitment to the integrity of our work. And we'd like to say again, please join us.
We meet once a month to have, and we have subcommittees to oversee the various aspects of the continuing ed work. So the work is shared and our committee is really awesome. I think you
They are awesome. Each person is committed to this organization, and we all recognize that we're one part within the whole. We enjoy working together for the benefit of all of us. So
join us
and get ready to be inspired.
Thanks for watching. We hope to see you next weekend for our 15-minute Q&A presentation. We appreciate you.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Teresa and Jana. Danny, could we have the next slide, please? It's a light and lively with Sarah Golstengau. Sarah, yay.
Hi,
And you
everybody.
can, yeah.
Can you hear and see me? I don't see
Yeah,
myself.
she will come up on the, if you're on multi-speaker screen, she'll come out.
Okay, can you see me now? Good, great. So if you're able, please stand up. And why am I not seeing myself? Can you see me okay? All right, so stand up and just let your arms dangle from your shoulders and let your body bounce a little bit as your knees soften. And then we're going to let our arms come out to the side, all the way up until our palms meet over our heads. And then bring your palms down the front so that you're coming down in front of your heart. And then let your arms dangle one more time. This time we'll take a nice slow inhale through our nose as our arms come up and out. Big stretch up towards the ceiling. And then exhale as your palms come down in front of your heart. Let your arms relax. This time we'll inhale with our hands coming up through the front of our torso, inhaling through the nose. A big stretch up to the ceiling. And exhale through your lips as your arms come out. And letting your arms dangle, let's just jump or flex your knees. Feel lots of contact with the floor. Give your face a little massage. Just let your jaw go. A big yawny feeling. And let's all say, "Ooh," together. Ooh. And that's it. I hope you feel alive and lively and light.
Thank you, Sarah. We move on to the membership committee with Tanya.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. As you heard, my name is Tanya. I'm here representing the membership committee. And as you heard Gabby mention before, in the past few years, we've been working with creating some interesting and fun and engaging membership benefits like the social hour, the awareness month, and in collaboration with the international committee, meeting with all the country groups that form part of Alexander Technique International. And now we need help. At the moment, there's only one person in the membership committee. And in order to continue this work, we really need volunteers. Ideally, we're looking for 2 people. And I must be very honest with you, 90% of the work that the membership committee does, it's administration work. So we're looking for people who are willing to work with emails, project management, record keeping, spreadsheets, contacting people. So there is 10% of the work that is creative, and that is specifically to the Awareness Month, helping us promote Awareness Month. And we could teach you how to use the program that we use to help promote, but again, to be honest, that's a bit time consuming. So the work can be a little bit stressful, can be a little bit time consuming, but there's also benefits to joining. We, as the continuing education co-chairs just mentioned, this could count for your continuing education credit. And you get to meet other people, other members of the world that form part of ATI, and in some cases, even form long-lasting friendships. And on a personal level, I have learned a lot about myself and about things that I didn't know I could do and how far I can go. So if you join, you not only will learn about ATI and the organization and how it works, but you can also learn about yourself and how to apply your process for the Alexander technique in stressful situations and time-consuming work. So if anybody wants to find out more information about what it's like to volunteer for membership or the kinds of roles, like I said, ideally, we would like at least 2 volunteers. You can contact me. I will put my email on the chat and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Unless anybody has a question now, since I have 6 minutes. Okay, so I'll just put my name and my email on the chat. And if you're very interested in finding out more information, please let me know. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, moving on to the nominations committee with Diane Sales.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diane Sales, and I'm here to represent nominations committee. First, I want to mention you should have received, and please write to me. I dropped my phone number and my email into the chat. Please let me or let Kelsey know if you did not receive the open voting is open announcement, which connected you to bios for those standing for the board and bios for those standing for committee chairs and co-chairs. Voting is open and it will remain open until next Saturday, 11/16, and it will close at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. However, we still have some open positions to be filled. On the board, we have a board director position that remains open. In the committee and chairs, we're looking for a chair or co-chair, as Tanya said, for the membership committee, as well as members. But for the ballot this year, we're looking for someone to come on board and chair. And I want to emphasize that as with every committee, there are many people who will help you. So don't be scared off. Usually someone does surface, so please ask yourself if you're attracted to this role. It's an important role. Call Tanya with any questions or call me, and we're planning on issuing a supplemental ballot on Tuesday because we have some open positions that we filled. But right now, the board director position remains open. The membership chair or co-chairs remains open. And still, I'm looking for a nominations co-chair, ideally someone with strong membership knowledge, since I'm relatively new to ATI. And I really could use that help. So those are the 3 open positions. And please don't delay. Write me or call me if you have any instinct or curiosity or desire, so that we can determine if it's right for you, put you in touch with anyone you might have questions on, and then get you onto the supplemental ballot to fill these open positions. Okay, so repeating again, just to let you know, we have only about 40 people who have actually voted so far, and we sent out the voting email to in excess of 400 members. So if it hasn't been something that's been on your priority, please put it on your priority right now. And you can vote separately, vote on the current ballot, and then vote on the supplemental ballot. Both will close at the same time, but there will be 2 ballots. That's it. Unless anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions here.
Yeah, Diane, wait, Gabi had a question, or did you lower your hand? And then timekeeper, but I saw.
I wanted to say vote as soon as I put the hand up to say, please vote. And then Diane said it, so I just wanted to echo that.
You do need to log in to the website and be in the members area of the website in order to vote. In my experience, the link, if I click on the link in the email, it doesn't go straight to the page on the website. I have to log in and then I can find the page again. So there is an extra step. If you have any questions about finding that extra step, just reach out to any of us or Diane. And then Kelsey, yes, reach out to Kelsey. There's a question there for Kelsey.
Oh, I just wanted to mention that you do need to log in to be able to see the ballot, but it does not record who you are. We do not have, it's an anonymous ballot. So we just want to make sure it's clear that it is anonymous, but being able to access it, you do need to log into the system. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Kelsey. Yeah.
Mary Lou?
Yes. Tell us the date that we need to vote by again, please.
Voting will close on November 16th, 2024 at 5 p.m. United States Eastern Time.
Okay. Well, that was time. I don't see any other questions, so let's move on to the next slide, next part. Thanks, Danny. Ending announcements from agenda planning. Catherine Kettrick?
I know. If you have an announcement, please sign up. These are 1 minute or less. And you can reply in the AGM Basecamp messages thread about announcements. For tomorrow's meeting, print out the Professional Development Committee, PDC, proposal in your preferred language. Watch Catherine Kettrick, that's me, my video presentation of the proposal. And you will find these on AGM Basecamp. Click on Docs and Files, click on Proposal, PDC Demonstration of Knowledge. The public scribe doc is also in the 2024 AGM Basecamp Docs and Files. Thank you.
Oh, there's one more
there's
slide.
more. And there's more. How to watch the recording of this meeting? Go to 2024 AGM Basecamp Docs and Files meeting recordings. It will be uploaded as soon as possible. There is a meeting directly after this meeting for the Agenda Planning Committee, Formal Consensus Process Committee, facilitators, and anyone else with concerns about the agenda or other meeting-related questions. Meet in the debrief breakout room. And note, the Zoom link is the same for all the business meetings and all the green rooms. Now, thank you.
I just wanted to add, I'm APC as well. Can I add one quick thing?
Sure.
I know there's a lot of reminder emails and links flying around. That's why we just want you to know that all the links for all 4 AGMs and all 4 green rooms are the same link. So if you find any link anywhere in your reminder emails or in one of the messages Mary Lou posted in Basecamp, it'll work.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Catherine.
And I'm in APC also. And I post every day after our meeting, which is after this meeting, the agenda and all of the relevant things that you need to look at for the next meeting, which includes the link to the Zoom, includes the PDC proposal. And it's a message thread that you might really want to look at when you get it, because it'll help you in the next meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Did you still have something, Danny? Or okay, just the hand is still raised.
No, just when I'm screen sharing, I can never find the lower hand thing.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Are there any questions of for APC or of a logistical nature here? Good time. Yes, Diana?
Yeah, I have a
Bradley?
question. When I save the chat, where does it go?
Somewhere in your computer,
Okay, thank you.
wherever
It
the
goes to your
chat's
desktop.
Thank you.
Use the tech and advocate whenever you have a tech advocate question, please.
Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. Meeting evaluations. Yes, here we are. This is where we anybody can share, and we have a public scribe writing these observations about sharing about anything that you felt went really well, anything that a suggestion that you would like to make for improvement. We always learn a lot in our meetings and through our evaluations. So the floor is open to anyone. Please use your hands, the raise hand feature, so you can come in order and I can call on you. So we have about 5 minutes for this section. Okay, Antoinette.
I very much appreciated how the slow tempo of speaking. It was so helpful, not just for language people, but also for me, who speaks English quite fluently. It's really does me good. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria, yeah.
As a peacekeeper, I just wanted to say how peaceful the whole process was. And I just adore the formal consensus process. It's so lively and structured, and I'm very happy we reached consensus for the first proposal today. Thank you.
Tanya?
Thank you. I just wanted to say how impressed I was with how well organized the meeting was and how much I appreciate all the work that the Agenda Planning Committee and the Formal Consensus Committee have done, because it went very, like Maria just said, it went very smoothly and it was very well organized. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Barker?
I want to underline the amount of work that had to go into making this so accessible, clearly run, and within a schedule that kept us from feeling nervous. And I hope that all of the young members and new members that I'm seeing in this group can be excited by the opportunity to get in here and work with these people and learn this amazing skill of running an organization so we achieve consensus. And it's only through the work that you all have been doing. So I'm greatly appreciating it.
Thank you, Sarah. David, Owen?
I wanted to say how impressed I was that this meeting went according to all the principles that I understand to be central to the Alexander technique. Everyone was cooperative, everyone was careful. We took our time to make the right decisions, not jumping to conclusions. So I'm just very impressed. This is not what I've always experienced in the Alexander world, and it's very refreshing to find this as a new member of ATI.
Thank you, David. Debbie?
I just wanted to say that I appreciate having the business meeting over Zoom. As I was unable to travel this year, I just think it was really wonderful that so many of us could still participate in the business of the organization.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, I see you, Tommy. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Anish?
Yeah, I just really appreciate, I think, going with the way the technique works and the way we teach and share, that there was a clear structure, but everyone was open to adapting based on how things progress. So when time was needed in certain sections, there was the capacity to reach out and make changes. And it just reminded me of the fact that, FM Alexander used to say apparently at the beginning of a lesson that I hope that something goes wrong. And it just made me feel that, wow, okay, everyone is really open and really available to things going not the way they are planned and adaptable, but there is a structure, there is planning that has been involved. So I appreciated that a lot.
Thanks. Anish, did I say your name right? Okay, great. Thank you. And Tommy, and there is like a half a minute. I have something I'd like to share too, but go ahead, Tommy.
Well, first of all, I just want to echo what every single person has said. It's absolutely amazing what you have all done and contributed to, and I'm happy that the new members were able to see all this happen. I really am. I also wanted to have at some point a minute and a half to acknowledge what's going on with two of our members, which I think most people would want to know. And I don't know if I do it now or wait until you let me.
Maybe that could be, you could talk to Danny on
Yeah, you
agenda
can have
planning.
an announcement time slot tomorrow if that works for you. A couple minutes
Announcement tomorrow? Okay.
in part 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
See, would we be able to extend this time for maybe 2 more minutes?
Yeah, the only thing we have left is the goodbye at the end.
Okay, so would that be all right to extend for everyone? Okay. Timekeeper, could you extend for 2 minutes? And Cassie, could you be the facilitator while I give an evaluation? Sure. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just having been a member for now 13 going on 14 years, and coming to the business meetings, I feel that what we have been developing over the last few years of running a proposal informal consensus online beforehand, in going through part of the process, which David Mills explained that the bylaws went through, it seems to be extremely helpful in us being able to reach consensus in one I mean, this is a record in one meeting, but last year it was also reached in one AGM in 2 meetings. And I am aware that proposals used to take several AGMs, I mean, several years. So just, yeah, I think we're doing well on the right track with that. Thank you. Mary Lou, is that a hand of yours, or that's okay? Go ahead for your evaluation.
My evaluation is that there are many, many people who volunteered to make this meeting run well. And I want to thank all of the people who are filling formal consensus roles for their contribution and their hard work during this meeting. Thank you.
Yay. Is there anyone else who would like to offer anything for our evaluation time? David Mills?
Just quickly, for all the people who weren't volunteering, who showed up at this meeting, I want to recognize you for clearly people actually read the proposal carefully, thought about it, asked good questions, expressed their concerns very clearly, which is one of the reasons why it went as smoothly as it did. So that's an important thing to recognize as well, is the full participation of everyone in the process. Well done.
And so we are at time. As Mary Lou said earlier, there is more time if there's any burning evaluations that need to be shared right now. There is some time, and so this is also a first to actually end with plenty of time. It feels very spacious and like we've attended to.
We're overtime.
Oh, we are overtime. Okay, sorry, I don't have the overview that I thought. Okay, so then I guess we can move on. Danny, what was the next section? Oh, the goodbyes. Okay, for some reason I thought it ended at 12. So maybe as we did at the beginning, we could open our arms, and if we see the full gallery view, we might see if you can connect your arm with somebody else's arm on their screen, and we make a circle with all of us throughout the world, and then let that circle come in towards you and give yourself a hug, holding your own shoulders. You can feel your breath going into your back, and exhale with a little smile. And you can open up your arms again and connect with the person next to you on your screen. That might not be the person next to you on their screen, but it doesn't matter. And then come back in on the other way and give yourself a hug with the other arm above, the one that's maybe a little less used to doing that way. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to facilitate the second part. Thank you to FCPC, and thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same link.
And facilitators and APC and FCPC, please stay in the debrief room.
Okay.
A short break.
Short break. How much time?
After Mary Lou, was it a 15-minute break? 10-minute?
10 minutes.
And do we need to go to a breakout room?
Yes, the debrief. Well, we could just stay here, I guess.
Yeah, we could stay here. It might be easier.
All right, 10.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Corinne.